Hello, Guild Wars 2 gamers. Mukluk here, and today is Monday, July 7th. We got a little bit of Guild Wars 2 news. Oh my god, you too can sign up for my Patreon and blast me with noises. Ignore that. So, we have got the latest in teaser images for what everyone is assuming is upcoming class specializations being added to the game. And I do stress the word assuming. This is all just fun theory crafting. They are releasing these teasers, and all we know are these images, and everything else is community guesswork. So it's always important to remember that. So this is the new one. They posted this picture. It says 8 days, and excuse me, and we've got this image. So the big question now is, what the heck is that? So, I've written down my own ideas. I've written down some ideas that I thought were decent from people in chat, and I have skimmed the subreddit and written down some ideas that they had. Also, to Vega Vic, who said, "Hi Muck." Hi Vega, how are you? So let's go back to this thing. What are the ideas we've got? First idea that I've written down is that this could be a clawed hand holding something. So this right here, if you don't see it, the bottom part, imagine it a hand like this, okay? And then there's some kind of object in the hand. So a clawed hand holding an object. And if it is a clawed hand holding an object, it almost looks like the top of a flower. This piece right here, it almost looks like the top of a flower. I don't know what that would mean. We've already got Druid, which is very, nature. Maybe, like, if it is nature, it makes me think Ranger, right? But if it could be a different form of nature magic, if it's something like that. But, again, just throwing ideas at the wall right now. Second thing is teeth on an armored-looking jaw. Now, this is, I'm going to weeb out here for a second here. I've got an image of a guy who's an anime character. It doesn't even matter what he's from. I'm just pulling this up to show this faceplate thing, okay? It could be something similar to this. Maybe this right here is a jaw, and this right here is just a flat face with no eye holes. Similar to this, okay? I was reminded of him, so I pulled up an image of that just to show you what I'm thinking. If it is a face and a jaw, that also brings up the, sorry, I'm trying to express a sneeze, Baroth from Monster Hunter, which is this thing. It's got eyes on the sides, but big flat face on the front, big jaw. So clearly, Rangers are going to get Baroth pets going forward. Probably not. But my point is, this could be a face and a jaw of a monster or creature we've never seen before that is coming soon that will be heavily integrated into one of the pets. Maybe someone shapeshifts into this armored form. Maybe it is the faceplate that goes with a set of armor that goes with a new specialization. Maybe it's an animal that Rangers can tame. But I'm looking at this, and one possibility I'm seeing is like jaw thing and then face mask. So that's a thought. Another thing was shield with spiky bits. This whole object could just be a big shield. Just a big shield with decoration, right? Which means maybe the big thing is someone is getting shield that didn't have it before. If someone is getting shield that didn't have it before, whose shield would look like that? With like teeth and spiky things and stuff on it. And not because I'm a Ranger main, but my first thought is Ranger. My second thought is Revenant, but Revenant already has a shield. So if it is a shield, I look at this and I think maybe Ranger, because it's got like teeth or claws on it, and they're getting like a giant shield that just has some decoration on it. Main hand warrior shield. Yes, dual wield warrior shields confirmed. Exactly. You're be like the thing in Dark Souls where you have the two doors. So that's another idea that I wrote down. But it could just be a shield, and someone who doesn't have shield could be getting shield. Necro. I mean, maybe. Could be some kind of weird undead minion. I don't know. I didn't have that written down, but maybe that's a possibility. Maybe this is the face of some, beastly undead creature that Necro can summon. Maybe they're finally getting actual minion mancy. Next thing is I did write down this looks kind of demonic. However, the only class that has anything to do with demons is Revenant, and they do already have a demon legend. There's no limit. They could be getting another different demon legend. Maybe this is Revenant's 5th new specialization. I don't know. Maybe they're making a deal with another demon. That's also possible. Another thing I wrote down, and this was kind of on the idea of this being an animal's face that we've never seen before. So Rangers consistently in each expansion, they'll get another pet or two as their options. Like in Janthier, we had the Bumblebee. You'll get another thing that you could possibly tame and use in your builds. I'm reminded of back when I played WoW, which was a long time ago. I don't know if this is still current information or if this is outdated. However, in WoW, if you play a hunter, which is the pew-pew archer guy that has an animal companion in that game, they can tame different animals. But they had one of their specializations was a thing that was like beast mastery. And if you were that, you could tame additional, much more exotic animals that normal hunters could not tame. For example, a Hydra, with multiple heads, or a friggin' T-Rex, stuff like that. And you could tame one of these more powerful exotic animals, but then if you swapped your build, you would lose it and you went back to the smaller animals, the more regular-sized ones. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe this is some just monstrosity of a beast that we're gonna see in the new expansion, and maybe there's a new ranger build that has like exotic taming, something like that. Again, just a random idea I had as I looked at this image. It's Majora's Mask. I don't know if it's Majora's Mask. But we have got another thing that Vega Vic said was reminds me of a Soul Eater. And he posted this image. And I see the claw things on the top. I don't know that that really reminds me of this, but just mentioning it because it was another idea that someone threw out there. Open it in multiple tabs. Another thing that was mentioned was this Renegade helmet. Now, remember, the idea here is that we're thinking this is going to be a new specialization. Renegade is already an elite spec. I don't think it's going to have any relation to Renegade. Also, I think it's kind of a stretch saying that it looks like this helmet. There's some similarities, but I think that's it. I don't honestly think it's related to this, but showing you a thought that somebody else had. Someone else also pointed out a few interesting things, in that every single warrior icon so far has been symmetrical. You could just cut it right down the middle. And many of the other classes are not so much. Like, Guardian's almost symmetrical. Dragon Hunter has a little bit of coloring on one side, but many of the classes are not. This is symmetrical, but, each of the classes has something that's near symmetrical. Like, Untamed is symmetrical, but the others are not for Ranger. Catalyst is symmetrical, but the others are not for Ellie. Things like that. So it was pointed out that this is a symmetrical icon. Another thing is like the sharp edges and the like little teethy bits or claw bits there at the bottom. 3 of the 4 Ranger icons have claws on them. The Ranger icon, the Soul Beast icon, and the Untamed one, a lot of people think it's like some helmet or spearhead with like claws like grabbing over the top of it. I don't know if that's true. I've never really fully grasped this icon, but it's possible. It's possible. If we're focusing on the claws, then Ranger would be a possibility there. But whether they're getting shields or a new pet or a weird armored face mask, I don't know. Maybe it could even be a transformation, now that I think about it. I spent so much time talking about maybe it's like a face mask, a faceplate with a jaw. Maybe someone transforms into this thing. There's a bit of shapeshifting in the game with the Norns all have shapeshifting just as a racial ability. Rangers, when they go into Soul Beast, they have minor transformations happen to their character, basically, but it's more like internal than it is external. When you take on different legends as the Revenant, they get some minor transformations. Like when you're in Demonic and you use the ultimate, it looks like you have 6 eyes instead of 2. So, Cryptid shapeshifting? Maybe. The question would be who would get it? Revenant, when they embrace a legend, they kind of shapeshift a little. Ranger with the Soul Beast, they would kind of shapeshift a little. Like, the thing that does the most shapeshifting in the game is the Norn race. Forget specs. This is clearly an overhaul for Norns. Only Norn Revenants get this. Nobody else. That's it. Necromancer Deathshroud. Only Norn Necros get it. Yeah. But that's it. This is similar to the last one where we were like, magnets, what do they even do? I wrote down a few things, but it all feels like super guesswork. Like any of these could easily be right or easily be wrong. So I am not sure. Also, I have heard from other folks on the grapevine that on the Chinese social media for Guild Wars 2, they are. When I say social media, it's like Twitter. It's called Bilibili, but it's basically Twitter over there. And they are posting these updates along with quotes. Now, I tried to use auto-translate on one of the quotes, and I got thousands of tricks and hidden tricks fighting into the trap 10 days later. Pretty sure that's not translated well. And at the moment of recording this, the new icon, this one right here, is not yet on Bilibili, so I don't have like a poem or anything with that one to chew on. I think that's it. I think that's it. That's all I got. I'm tapped out. That's all the ideas I have. That's all the decent ideas I felt like that people have given me. What do you guys think? Once again, this is all just speculation. You know, don't get mad. This is all we have is a picture. All we have is a picture. I'm speculating. And if you got anything else, I'm curious to know what you got. Put it in the comment section down below, and I'll fight you there.